rap, and I call it crap. Sensei Clark, I've been knowing him since he was born. And I trained with him since he was 4 years old. At 16, him and I became the best friends ever. And we did all the training together. And I probably know Clark as good as anybody. But when he was 24 years old, I went to this party, and there was a band that he had messed around with. And he went up on the stage and sang 6 songs. Now, when I was growing up with Clark, Clark had 2 things in his bedroom. A surfboard, which I gave him, and posters of the Beatles. Clark loved the Beatles. I didn't know Clark could sing. He got on that stage, and it was John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and George Harrison rolled in. Clark can sing. He can really sing. It has to be a Beatles song, but he can sing. I didn't know that. I had known that guy for 24 years, and I had no idea that he could sing. And you know, singing, everybody can sing. The thing is to find the songs, if they tell a story, and it's somewhat original, you do it. It's like, if Joe Cocker can sing, Rod Stewart can sing, Janis Joplin can sing, Chris Christopherson, Leon Russell. They got these raspy voices like they're terrible. But after you listen to them a while, their songs tell a story. And they usually write their songs. And after they sing it, it doesn't sound right from anybody else. Maggie May, Rod Stewart, little raspy voice. Speed. When I started training Sensei Clark, speed is what we worked on. The main reason was I didn't want him to take the beatings I had to take as a fighter. And if you can hit somebody and get out before they can hit you, it's the greatest thing in the world. The most frustrating thing in a fighter is that, and Bobby will tell you, the most frustrating as a fighter is the guy that hits you like a bumblebee 2 or 3 times, but you can't hit him. Same thing with Sugar Ray Leonard when he beat Marvin Hagler, like a bumblebee hitting him. Of course, we have some power, but I'm just saying, speed is the greatest thing. So we work with speed. And it's the same thing in life. You just can't keep thinking about it. You got to make things happen. Sensei Mike Eberhard, me and him, when we were around, when the karate hands first came out, but they didn't have feet. And we said, wow, they got to have feet because boxing makes you cover up all the weapons you hit with. So we're working on this foot design. We finally got it worked out, and we actually went and found the best foam possible to buy. And it comes from Volvos. They have the safest condensed foam. We got their foam, we figured out how to play it, and we had it all hooked up, and we were trying to figure out how we would get the money to get a patent on it. Before we could get the patent on it, June Reed patented the feet, and that was the end of that. It made millions and billions of dollars, but we weren't fast enough with the speed. So if you got an idea, go with it. Don't let financial or anything else, go with it. You have to be first, you have to be there. All right, let me demonstrate on somebody here. Speed. Remember, I said I wasn't fast. What am I?
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to hurt you too bad. I'm going to hit you with a jab right here, then I'm going to kick you right here, and then I'm going to hook kick you right here, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Put your hands up. Are you ready? Did it hurt you? Did it hurt you? Am I fast or what? I didn't beat you up, you sit down. Last thing. Now stop. Ow! Guy gave me one of the best compliments I could have had. I got on the plane, I waited 2 hours for my plane to land, to take off to get here. And I sat beside this nice guy, his name was Rodney, his wife was Phyllis. And we had a great conversation the whole time. I ran my mouth the whole time, we talked back and forth. I fixed all the problems wrong in the United States, and I started working on the rest of the world before the last hour of the plane flight. And he said, I noticed you in the airport. I said, what do you mean? He says, you had charisma, you carried yourself with grace and power. He says, you stood out from everybody else. I said, wow, that's a cool minute. And that's one of the first things I'm going to talk about. The way you carry yourself, like I said, Sylvester Stallone's the guy to model for that. The way you carry yourself, so that people will never pick guys. You will never have a bully pick on you if you carry yourself right. Us? Sensei Clark can watch people when they come in that karate studio. A lot of guys come in like this right here. Hi. I'd like to do some karate. Think I could do that? Is it showing confidence?
No, sir.
Huh. Then you got the other guy, like the big guy I told you about, had to hit with one punch and knock it down. Hey, I want to do some of this karate stuff. You think you got anybody bad? Then you got the person that you want to be. Hold your head up, check around what's going on, make sure you always know where you're at, what's going on, see the people, check people. Have eye contact if you want to have, a conversation, especially the girls. You guys listen. See, look at that smile. Just give them eye contact. They just melt in your hand like that. Carry yourself on your shoulders, your head high, and walk with confidence. Always know about the things. And people will notice that you're different than everybody else. Listen. To have power, we talked about it in here. You must have a good foundation. Plant your feet firmly on the ground. And it's the same thing we're talking about business. If you're going to, I want to open a ballet school. That's what I want to open. There's no ballet schools except right next door. I'm going to do ballet. What kind of foundation do I have in ballet? None. So I have to build up some education, some foundation to do that, to be a powerful person in ballet. So make sure you build your foundation really well. The most feared weapon in fighting is power. When people think about me, they think of me as a power fighter. That's the most feared weapon. Why do you think it's the most feared weapon? It hurts. Didn't I say I worked the speed of him? Because why? Couldn't hurt you, right? Couldn't get in now? But with power, you can win the fight in one punch or one kick. Julio Cesar Chavez versus Meldrick Taylor. One of the most spectacular finishes to a fight in the history of boxing. There was heavy anticipation for the fight. Taylor was a young, undefeated former Olympian who seemed to be the second coming of Sugar Ray Leonard. Taylor had the fastest hands and the greatest speed of any boxing when in the boxing community. He was an outstanding amateur boxer and won an Olympic gold medal for the United States in 1984. He turned pro at 18, won the welterweight title a few years later, and was only 23 years old when he took on Chavez as one of the world champions. Chavez was one of the other sanctioned and bodies champions, and they were going to unify the title. Well, Chavez was older, but he was 68-0, never lost. And Meldrick Taylor was undefeated with 32 wins, 24 knockouts, and no losses. From the opening bell, Taylor appeared to not only be the quicker man, but the stronger man. He dazzled the crowd with a variety of combinations that had Chavez could not answer. Taylor was making Chavez miss most of the big punches and would answer back with 4 to 8 counter punches at a time. To make a long story short, Meldrick Taylor won every single round hands down. It was the most lopsided fight I'd ever seen. With 2 seconds left in the fight, Chavez hit him with a left hook and won the fight off one punch. Wow. One punch. He lost every single round, but one punch. Power is the most feared thing in fighting. And actually, power is the most feared thing in anything. Business or what? Do you think Donald Trump, if he comes in and says, I'm going to put you out of business, you think he might listen? I think so. Next is my hero, George Foreman. George Foreman, when he was young, you guys have to look at the old tapes, was all muscles. He's not the big, bald-headed, fat guy you see now. He was a handsome guy with huge chest muscles and huge arms. He was a monster. And he was the hardest puncher I have ever seen. I think he's the hardest puncher ever walked the face of the earth. Now, he went down in flames when Muhammad Ali beat him. Muhammad Ali beat him with speed, technique, and cunning. Strategy. Because the thing about George Foreman, he was like a Mike Tyson. Nobody went more than 6 rounds of Mike Tyson. Most of them were knocked out in the first or third round. George Foreman was the same way. Nobody went more than 6 rounds. So Muhammad Ali said he invented what's called rope-a-dope. He covered his arms as best as could, and he let George Foreman beat on him for 6 rounds. George Foreman had nothing left, and he got knocked out in the 8th round. Okay? George Foreman became a preacher. He found spirituality. He found God and became a preacher for about 20 years. And then he said, I think I can beat these young punks. I don't think they know how to fight. So he found a mentor. He found a coach. He found education. He found the best instructor probably that ever walked the face of the earth in boxing. His name was Archie Moore. Archie Moore was the oldest fighter to ever fight as a world-class fighter. Archie Moore was ranked in the top 10 in the world at 49 years old. Archie Moore would have been won more world titles than anybody else, but he was black. He didn't have connections, and he didn't get to fight for the world title till he was an old man. But he won the world title. Archie Moore was probably the greatest fighter ever lived. So who does he want to train him? Archie Moore. He knows what it's to fight like an old man. So they trained. And here's the article that was in the paper about that fight. November the 5th, 1994 in Las Vegas, the 26-year-old champion, Michael Moore, defends his title for the first time against a 45-year-old old man, George Foreman. Most people felt that Foreman didn't deserve another title fight. He hadn't fought for 18 months. And why do you think they fought? Because everybody wanted to buy tickets to see it. It's all about money, right? I was there watching that fight. I'm not there. I was paid per view to watch it. It was a good fight. Anyhow, and the last, okay, Foreman had a career record of 72 wins, 4 losses, and 67 knockouts. While Moore's stats were 35 wins, no losses, with 30 knockouts. The betting odds were 4-1 in favor of Michael Moore. Round 10, 20 seconds into the round, Foreman took control. He started landing a majority of the punches, but more significant, and to many more surprising, the right hand was connecting solidly. George even landed several very hard left hooks. Moore was returning punches, but Foreman was pressing the attack. Foreman landed a solid, but not spectacular-looking right hand to the forehead of the champion. Mike took 2 short steps backwards. Foreman landed a soft left and then a solid right hand to the jaw that sent Mike to the canvas like a sack of flour. He laid flat on his back with arms fully extended to the sides. At the count of 6, he attempted to get up but couldn't and was counted out, and 2 minutes and 3 seconds in round 10 of the scheduled 12-rounder, a major upset in people's minds. At age 45, Foreman became the oldest fighter to win a championship. The previous oldest heavyweight was Jersey Joe Wildcat at a youthful age of 37. Immediately after Moore was counted out, George knelt down and prayed in his corner. The last thing that goes when you get old is power. So, power we worked on today. Just to talk about other things I fishing like, and we're almost done here. We talked about the power of the spoken word. The power rests in you. What are you going to do with the rest of your life? Where's the power at? Where's the power at? It's in you, right? Can your mother take care of you for the rest of your life? Can your mother have anything to do with who you're going to be? She can help you, but I mean, who's going to be who you are in 20 years? Who's in control of that? You're in control of that. Nobody else in the world controls yourself but you. You realize after the age of 13, you basically made up the principles and the self-core beliefs that you want to be who you want to be. You can add and take away from those anytime you want to. But it's like it's you who's in control of your own destiny. Nobody else. Anybody in this room, if you know your limitations and you fix those limitations, you can be and do and come anything you want to do. Us? You can do that. I want everybody, if you will, I'm going to give a simple little thing here. I want you to pledge. I'm basically going to ask you, I promise myself that I will find my mission in life and that I will do anything and everything possible to be the most I can be and to accomplish my goal and my mission and my quest on earth. I'm going to ask everybody to sort of repeat something close to that to me, and it's up to you to do that, but you need to make that commitment to yourself. And when you leave here, I want you to start thinking about your goal list. Find out your mission. Find out your goals and write these things down. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you would, repeat after me. I promise myself that I will find my mission in life, and I will do everything possible to accomplish that goal, no matter what, no matter when, and no matter how. Good. All right, I'm going to finish up that. I'm going to do one more thing and we're done. We're finished with that. We're going to do an experiment. My teacher taught me this, and I haven't done it ever since then. Never seen it done. I want to see if it works with you. You had to be a second-degree black belt or higher to be in this class, and we did something to show you about the power of the mind and how you can control your destiny. And I've never seen or done it since then in 30 years. I want to try it, and I'm thinking we can do it if we're all in control. And so I want to try this. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 18. Let's do 9 people in a group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You guys sort of slide this way, and everybody else sort of slide that way right there. Okay. Take your papers with you. You'll have a big spot here in the middle. Okay. Sensei Clark, I'm going to get you to lay right here. Well, I'm picking you because you have the strongest mind.
Thank you.
Mike.
Yes, sir.
Right. Yeah, just lay down and relax.
Mike Harris.
Yeah, Mike Harris. And I want you to slide this way a little bit, Sensei. Good. Once you got 9 people, 4 on one side, 4 on the other, 8 people. You, Mike, you lay right here. 4 of you on this side, 4 on the other side. Come on, guys, everybody quickly. 4 of you guys on this side of Mike, 4 of you guys on this side of Mike. 4 of you guys on one side of Mike, 4 on the other side.
Boy, don't you jump over there, especially right there.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Everybody in this group over here, watch. This group here, you're going to take one finger from each hand and put it underneath Sensei Clark like that. The next person, right here. We need to get as many people as we can in the body weight. And the last person is one underneath the knee and one here. Okay, something close to that. Put your fingers right in there. Everybody get in your position.
What if I do this?
Okay, everybody's in your position now.
Let me tell you, we got 3 on one side.
Now relax for a second. Everybody relax. Everybody quiet. So you can move your hands. Everybody sit comfortable. Okay, we need complete silence. Everybody sit back. It's going to be like a bow-in, okay? I want you to keep your mind quiet and think. Everybody close your eyes. Moktum! Everybody in this room, relax. We're not doing anything yet. Relax. Everybody in this room, especially Clark and Mike Harris, think light. Clark and Mike, I want you to think that you're as light as a feather. You're as light as a feather. You're as light as a feather. Everybody that's going to use your fingers, think of the person in front of you as light as a feather. As light as a feather. Now put your fingers in position. And when I say now, you're going to lift them. Mike, Clark, think you're light. Think you're light. Breathe in, breathe out. Light as a feather. Everybody picking up? How much do they weigh? They're light as a feather. Let's pick them up as high as you can. Pick them up as light as you can. Okay, good. Put them back down. Okay. You guys can sit up right here. Did you see how high they got him?
Yeah.
They got him up to here, right?
Yeah.
And we have small people here. That was done half of it through here. But the biggest part is Mike thinking he's light. Okay? So they got him up here about 2 foot. Okay? All right, now everybody just slide back a little bit. Mike, you are heavy now. You are very heavy. You weigh 2,000 pounds. And I'm going to take these nails and I'm going to nail your gi to the floor. They will not be able to pick you up. They will not be able to pick you up. They will not be able to pick you up. You weigh 2,000 pounds. Think heavy. 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 Good, put him down. You got the feet up after straining to, but this here never came more than 3 or 4 inches. It was all because of what? His mind. When you thought of him light, you brought him up 2 feet. When he thought of heavy, you had to strain to get him up, and you could only lift his legs up. And that was all because of what?
Because it's the farthest from the mind.
It was all in his mind, right? Did he weigh the same weight both times?
Yes, sir.
But his mind controlled his weight, and you saw the difference. Us?
Us.
Us. Okay, cool. Clark, you do the talking, let me try. You do what I just did, light and then heavy, and let's see what we can do.
I don't think it worked for me because my back's
Push
got
your
real
back.
tight.
All right, let's do it. You make me light and then make me heavy.
Concentrate.
One finger on each
One
hand.
finger each hand. One finger each hand. One finger each hand. Wes, go underneath his arm. Go underneath his arm. See how you're over top of it? Both hands underneath his arm. All the way down. That's right. That's right. Go all the way underneath his arm into his back. There you go. Yeah, you need to be there. All right. All right, Blackhawk. Think light as a feather. Light as a feather. Let him get his concentration. Light as a feather. Light as a feather. Okay, guys, let's lift him up. Lift him up. Light as a feather. Light as a feather. Light as a feather. All right, let him down. Let him down. Let him down. All right, back away. All right, Blackhawk, you know how this works. All right, this time you're going to be 2,000 pounds. It will be impossible for these guys to even get you off the ground. I am molding your body to the ground. There is no possible way that they can get you up. You are 2,000 pounds. You have become part of this mat. There's no possible way you can be lifted off of this ground. 2,000 pounds. Concentrate. Concentrate. Guys, get in your position, just like you were before. Same position you were before. Let Blackhawk concentrate. You are part of the mat. You are 2,000 pounds. Part of the mat. 2,000 pounds. There's no possible way they can lift you up. Okay, guys, let's go. No possible way they can lift you up. Come on. No possible way they can lift you up. Relax. Good job, guys. I think that's why I didn't do maximum back was so tight.
You had it from the jump.
So now that time, it was all me because I didn't try to convince you. The first time I tried to convince everybody that they were light. Then Mike did so good, I said, okay, I can get away with just Mike thinking I don't need anybody else. But you see, I still weigh 175. How high did you get me? Oh, I thought I was to the ceiling, really. I thought you got me all the way up to here. I went 3 foot, so. Okay, in my mind, I was up here for all of you. I would have bet money I was here, but I was 3 foot, huh? Okay. And of course, you didn't get me anywhere when I thought heavy. That's all power of the mind. Okay? And there's many other tricks, and I'll bring a new one when I come back about what the power of the mind does. You know what I'm going to do? I got to work on it. Music. Music makes you strong, or music can make you weak, and I'm going to bring that to you. What music do you think makes you weak?
Rap.
Rap. Rap makes you weaker than anything else. And I'm going to show you just what I showed you with music. Okay? Power of the mind. If you believe it, Jake Seinfeld says, if you believe it, you can achieve it. But Blackhawk says what? Know your limitations. Yeah, you can do that, but know your limitations. Us? Thank you so much. And I'll tell you what, you guys, I'm really proud of you because You're the elite of the elite just by coming in the door. You know, the hardest thing is walking in the door to start. And after 3 months, the hardest part is not coming. When you don't come and you're at home, you feel guilty you didn't do your workout. Okay? So one of the things you got to make sure that you do, everybody listen real quick. You found a great teacher. You found somebody who loves it, who's been living this life since he was 4 years old. You got Bobby. You know how hard it was to get Bobby to do karate? Because Bobby's a boxing guy. It took me 25 years to get Bobby to come into karate. Now Bobby loves karate as good as I do, you know? And you have to let the people know that are running the studio and that are doing this, that you love them, that you care about them, and you appreciate them. And you do that with the power of the spoken word, the power of your body actions, and the things that you do. And you need to do that. Listen. Thank you. See you next
Blackhawk,
time.
excuse me, if we could, we have one last thing to do. Blackhawk, if you'd sit here, everybody just gather around real quick. Sensei Clark, for just one more moment if we can. If you can sit down, because we want to get this on camera.
We're not hovering, we're very interested in watching. We're not hovering there.
Blackhawk, you've changed a lot of people's lives. You've inspired the very message that you proclaim today in many of our lives. I'm one of them. I know Sensei Clark is one of them. And you've also been a part of founding this studio, The Way of the Hawk, but in addition, The Way of a Champion Foundation, which in its inception was actually called Blackhawk Foundation, because Blackhawk and Clark both have the desire to be able to pass on to children at risk the kind of life values and lifestyle that has changed your life, changed my life. Way of a Champion Foundation is committed to doing that, to carrying it on. And it's not insignificant or accidental that Blackhawk's book, How to Be a Champion at Life, has the message within it that really is the fuel for the work of the Way of a Champion Foundation. So Sensei Clark and I are excited to say a couple things to you today. First of all, the dream of the Way of a Champion Foundation is becoming a reality. For the first time this past year, through the Lord's help, but lobbying efforts, a small amount of money, but a seed for what could become a large amount of money, has been procured through lobbying efforts. And the General Services Administration has actually given a small grant that we can draw down upon to build the Way of a Champion Foundation into something wonderful. This past year, 33 at-risk kids came through the program. In the coming year, we hope to see 200 at-risk kids come through the program. But one of the things that needs to happen for those kids to become champions at life is for them to hear the message that you live, that's in this book, and that you taught us today. So we want to do a couple of things. First of all, we want to give you today, from the Way of a Champion Foundation, $500.
Cool.
And thank you. Now that's in addition to whatever the seminars bring, but
Cool.
that's simply what we hope is the beginning of future funding for your coming here and working with the kids who go through the program, The Way of the Champion Foundation. We've also decided that this book is going to become the book that these kids get as a part of participating in the program. So we want to make arrangements with you to print this book and offer it to every kid that comes to the Way of a Champion Foundation. And finally, we want you to know that we consider you to be the motivator for the Way of a Champion Foundation. And we hope to bring you back more. And as the foundation grows and the number of participants grow, to bring you back as often as we possibly can. Maybe even to bring kids out to your mountain in Utah. Don't underestimate the quality of your message, the importance of your work. And we're just very grateful that you're able to come. So on behalf of Way of a Champion Foundation, you're a champion.
Well, Blackhawk, you know that the values that you have instilled in me have helped me to grow this karate studio and carry on what you had originally started. You've told me before, and I know that you're proud of me. And you know what my dreams have always been, and it's to teach as many people martial arts as possible. And it wasn't that many years ago that I realized that that was not an easy goal. I realized my limitations. There are limitations out there. And there's a lot of other places that are trying to do the same exact thing as me, and I needed to find a way around my limitations. everything that you went over today, and I think everybody here can agree with me on this, that the people that have been in here the longest, which we got a lot of high belts in here, so you've been in here a long time, it was neat listening to everything he said. But most of what he said is reinforced on a regular basis, okay? It was neat hearing it come from the author himself, okay? Because that's what you got to hear today. But how many people had heard at least some version of almost every story that he told? Because he helped create me as his spokesperson, okay, to carry it on. That's what you do in life. And that's what I'm going to continue to do with you guys. And I'm doing it through the Way of a Champion right now. And I believed in it ever since the idea came across. And Keith said, hey, you should do this as a nonprofit because I think that would be the way to work. You've known about it all along. I've told you great things are in the works. And I've always guaranteed you and told you that no matter what I do, just like no matter what you do, we always find a way to pull us all back into it. And just like in the past, I mean, we're gonna continue to bring you in, just like he said. Everyone that's ever read the book, loves it. They love it because it's just what you did here today. You're telling stories. You're telling stories that help shape who you are. Okay, and that's what people need to hear because. Now, every story in that book I'd already heard also. But it's neat. I reread it. I had Steve Mann, who fought last weekend. And all of us in here know Steve Mann because he comes in here every chance he gets. He would have been here today except he's got bronchitis.
It's the winter.
And before, I know, this has been a winter of sickness. He told me before he went to the fights on Friday, on the way down, riding with all those people and everybody, coming to his dad's house and then eventually coming to the fights. Guess what he had? He had your book. He read your book.
About an hour and a half.
He read your book because that helped him remember the things that motivated him. That's why me and Keith came up with the idea that this is going to be, quote unquote, the textbook of, like he said, the fuel for the Way of a Champion.
And believe me, we're going to add Against the Ropes.
Against the
Living
ropes.
Against the Ropes.
Well, that's a different book. But what I want to do, you give my permission, give me April 1st. What I want to do is add a couple chapters. I'd like to add the chapter of me fighting David Humphreys and the lesson that David Humphreys taught me. And add a couple chapters to this. So it'll be the new revised version.
That'd be great.
Some chapters.
That would be wonderful.
And the other thing I want to add with Sensei Clark is as he's talking, I'm thinking about some things that I did with him that I haven't done with anybody else. And I want to tell you this while we're talking. Is one of the things that we did to get to be where he's at. I talked about the 10 things of putting them in your pocket. The other thing that we did to make his actually more. I have a picture. Picture's worth 1,000 words. Clark, tell me what you did.
Talking about painting?
Yeah.
I painted a picture, and most of you, how many of you are here at the story? See, because I go over at the beginning of the year, every year, goal-setting strategies, okay? And Blackhawk
He
had,
tells us that he learned it from you.
and I did.
I know.
There's
I'm
no
just-
lie.
I want him to hear that. It's one of the things you need to hear.
But if you haven't heard the story, listen up. If you had heard it, bear with me, okay? Blackhawk had, and it wasn't just me, there was some other black belts.
It was only the black belt.
It was only the black belt candidates. This is when I was coming up for black belt tests. So that was many years ago. And I was 17, 18, 19, something. I wasn't that old. And
16.
16, okay. Anyway, he had us write our goals. And I was completely stumped. What do you mean? He said, well, this is how you got to write them. You got to write first-year goals, I want 3-year goals, I want 5-year goals, and I want 10-year goals, and I want 20-year goals. 20-year goals? Man, you got to be nuts. I have no idea what I'm going to do 20 minutes from now, let alone 20 years. So I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I really, because he told me, just like he pushed in here today, he said, think of this as the most important thing you can do in your life right now. And I really, I believed him. I believed that it was the most important thing I could do in my life right at that point, okay? And listen up. I sat down and I wrote down my goals. Now, he never laughed at any of them, but I didn't show them to a whole lot of people at that time. But I wrote down first-year goals that were simple and stuff I knew I could achieve. I wrote down 3-year goals that seemed a little far-fetched. I wrote down 5-year goals that were way out there, 10-year goals that were just, just things that only I dreamed about, and 20-year goals, which I have just recently started coming close to catching up to. Guess what? He made me also, along with writing the goals down, we wrote the goals first. Then what he said, that conceptual thing of him carrying the Corvette picture in his pocket, we had to take the goals, we had to make them in a miniature form, and we had to carry them with us all the time. Okay, I've got them in my wallet still. I've got, I had them, like the goals as I was coming up, the major goals as I was coming up to them, I'd put them on my refrigerator, I'd stick them on my mirror. These are all secrets I've already told you, a lot of you guys. But we painted a picture, and I still have the picture. I used to have it hanging up back in my office or whatever, but since we remodeled it, it's all in boxes. Okay? And in this picture it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to a lot of people. Okay? But I put something that was in each one of my goals. I drew these title belts. Now, granted, I don't even think I had my first, I only had one amateur kickboxing match. I drew all these title belts.
He could paint pretty good. Paint type of.
Well, I could paint good enough that you could tell what it was, okay? And I put, I just put a lot of things on there. Well, here's the whole end of the story. Okay, there's still a few things that I will reach that haven't happened yet with the 20-year goals. But every single goal I put down, I reached. And even I thought they were far-fetched when I wrote them down. You know what, I'm going to write down I want to be the world champion. But, okay, I'll write it down because, that's what he'll want to hear. That's what I was thinking in the beginning. But it made it real. It made it real for me, okay? And remember what he said about telling someone, but someone you know will be not someone that will deter you, but someone that will empower you. So I'll let him know. And he'll listen, man, these are great. These are great. And he's always been there. He's always made sure I stay true to him. And I did stay true to him. I mean, that's why we're here today. That's why everything is right now happening. Was because 16, 17, 18, 19 years ago, I wrote these goals down. Okay? I wrote them down. And it was almost word for word. I was having flashbacks laying there of what he was just talking about. This is, he said, I got this new thing together, this 12, da-da-da. Guess what? This isn't new. Okay, this is the same stuff. He's added a few new stories, but it's the same exact stuff that has been inside of his heart that he's been teaching me and everybody else since the beginning of time.
But there's one difference. As somebody who loves Blackhawk and has watched him and been a friend, he's now in a place where he needs to teach them even beyond the studio.
That's right.
Because there's
That's
seasons in life. And there are things you can teach when you're in your 50s that you certainly couldn't teach when you're in your 30s or in your 20s. I was glad when you told the story about your father, and you realized that, how smart he was, and he had changed and you had changed. I think it was Mark Twain who said he thought his father was this foolish person on the earth until he got into his 20s and he was surprised at how smart he had become. I know, and my son Keith said it to me on my 50th birthday. But there is something about seasons. In Blackhawk, you're in a season. You've always been a teacher. But now I truly believe something very special is sort of breaking forth so you can teach other people. We love you, and we just are so grateful for you being here.
I'm going to lay some more on you just for a second. This is what you got to do now, because it came to me and Clark reiterated the story. What I expect all of you when I come back in May is to have a painting with your goals on it. So go buy your nice piece of canvas, buy you some watercolor paints or regular oil paint.
Go right to Home Gates and pick it all up for less than $20. Everything you need.
At least this big.
Michael's.
Okay?
Right.
Maybe the bigger it is, the more power it's got. Get you a painting. And I can't paint. But everything Clark talked about, I've done that for myself. I wrote all my belts, all my goals. And my original drawing had 5 belts. I got one more to get. Had 5 world title belts on. And I actually always said I was going to be the middleweight, super middleweight, and light heavyweight champion of the world. It was always those weight classes. I'm going to get the light heavyweight too. I already won it once, so we're going to do it again. So everybody get your now. What you got to do when you leave here? No radio, no nothing. Silence in your car. think about what you need to do. You might need to even drive a little bit longer on the drive, but think about what you got to do. If we're assuming there's no traffic, think about what you got to do. Maybe go to a park a thing. Maybe stop at the little 7-Eleven or something, get your notebook and paper, and start writing down. God sent you here for a mission. What is your mission? You know, I've been knowing this guy forever, and it's like I never knew that Bobby, my good friend, who I always admired as a fighter. I mean, Bobby's as tough as they come. He's always had a heart of gold. His weak spot has been the same as Blackhawks. He likes women. That's his only weak spot. But I don't know, because the most religious, spiritual person I have is a friend here. You know what he told me one time? He said, God's greatest creation was the female.
That's right.
You know? So, I mean, I'm not going to argue that with him. You know? But try to do it now, while you're in the frame and in the mode. Write down, figure out what your mission, what your quest is. Write it down. Start figuring out what the goals. It might take you a while, but I'll give you 2 weeks. Go get your painting and then do your painting. And you need to, you guys that are testing for your black belt, you need to have that black belt on there. And put as many stripes as you want there, because you know mine has 10 stripes on it. Okay? I got 2 more to go. I'm too young to be a 10th grader. 2 more to go. But put down what you want. And it can be any dream you want to, because you know what your limitations are, and you fix those limitations. Us? Thank you very much. Go home.